this is Christy from Pampered Pet Spa, and this is Rose, one of my personal dogs, and we are in quarantine like most of everybody else. We had to close this week, just taking precautions so that we don't give any germs to anybody or we don't get anything ourselves. So I thought it would be nice to post a little video about how to brush your dog. This is Rose. She needs a lot regular brushing. She doesn't like it very much, but we make her do it. So I just usually will lay on the living room floor and put a movie on or something, and we'll just brush, huh, Rose? So usually what I use is a slicker brush. That's the kind of brush that has the little needle type bristles. For the longer coated dogs, this is the best kind of brush because it's the kind that's going to get down to the skin. And then I'll have a metal comb. If you don't have a metal comb, you can use a plastic comb. Right now, any kind of help is going to be helpful to keep the dog from getting matted. That way, when we do open the shop back up, we don't have to shave your dog. So it sometimes can take a little bit longer. If you do it every day or every other day and make sure that you brush all those tangles out, then you don't have to worry about the mats happening. But you do have to make sure you get it all the way down to the skin. So it doesn't really matter where you start. With Rose, I usually will start on her legs, and half the time she rolls over on her back. So I will just hold her leg up in the air. She doesn't like brushing. And just brush. I usually try to brush against the grain, whichever direction the hair usually falls. I'll brush the opposite direction. And that just kind of helps fluff it up. And hold that leg up, and you gotta make sure you get in those armpits, because anywhere where the dog is moving and that hair is rubbing against, it's gonna mat faster. So just make sure you get the whole leg all the way around, and you just want to do it in parts. Do one leg all the way through, then you can move to another leg until you can't feel that there's any more tangles in there. And then when you think you have all the tangles out, that's when you're going to take your comb, and just like if you were women with long hair, you were brushing your hair, and then if you can't get that comb through there, you know you don't have the tangles out. So then you're going to just comb, and see how I found some knots in her armpit already. I must not have brushed that. Then that comb's going to find any tangles that you missed with the brush. So the armpit's a pretty sensitive spot. They don't like their armpits brushed that much. I can't imagine why. Probably a little bit more nerves in there, so just be gentle. And get them out, and then take your comb back through, and see, now I can slide that comb through there, so I know I got those tangles out. She tries to get away every time I let go of her. That's just normal for her. And just once I think I've got them, that comb will slide through nice and easy. Then I know I got them all out. So that leg's pretty much brushed out. There she is. So, and then when you're brushing around the face, you got to make sure you don't get the eyes. So what I do is sometimes I'll hold my hand over their eyes to make sure that that little bristle doesn't accidentally poke them in the eye. And you could just brush back to the back of the head, and then you take it and you brush a little bit at a time and brush forward. That way you know you've got both directions. On long-haired breeds, the back of the ears, behind the ears will mat faster. That's because they're constantly scratching behind their ears when you're petting them. You yourself are, scratching them behind the ears or petting them. And our hands have oil in them, so that oil can cause their coats to mat faster. So make sure you pull that ear up towards the nose and get behind the ear. Pull the ear up towards the nose and then just get behind that ear. And then with the ear, I'll hold it flat, the ear leather flat on my hand, like that, and then just brush down. And then flip the ear back over the head, on top of the head, and brush the underside. you brush with the brush, you're gonna go back over it with your comb to make sure there's no knots. And you wanna make sure that you go all the way down to the skin, because a lot of times people will brush their dogs and only get that top layer. They don't get all the way down to the skin, and then when they bring the dog back into us to be groomed, the top part's brushed out, but the part that is all the way down to the skin is still matted to the skin, so we still have to shave the dog. So if you're brushing the dog, if you see right here how I can part her hair on top of her head, and I can actually see her skin. See the line? So I know I've gotten it all the way down to the skin. If you can't see that skin, then you got mats on the skin. And then you want to brush that ear out with the comb too. And don't be alarmed if you lose a little bit of hair. Even those non-shedding breeds are going to lose a little bit of hair when you're brushing them, just because that's just dead hair. That might have, if it didn't get brushed out, it would have been matted into the coat. So that's basically it. You just do the whole dog. And Rose and I are going to keep brushing here. Huh, Rose? And then she might get a cookie. So if you have any questions, leave your comments in under the video, or you can private message me if you have any questions. But for now, keep brushing, and hopefully before long we'll be open so that we can get your dogs all fixed up for you. Have a good day.